Hey, how y'all doing? This is MongoSlade, and today we're going to talk about the Matt Riddle, Candy Cartwright situation, because it is now turned into what it seems to be a $10 million lawsuit, which could end up being probably a $30 million lawsuit. So we're going to go all the way back. We're going to tell the entire story. So back in June. So we're going to go through Cage Side Seats. They pretty much kept up with this thing. Pretty much all the dirt sheets have, of course. So I'm going to read a couple of articles. So we're going to start from the beginning. At the beginning, we have indie wrestler alleges Matt Riddle in sexual assault. So this goes sexually assaulted her, WWE comments. This goes back to the speaking out engagement. Okay. So early this morning, June 19th, an independent wrestler who is Candy Cartwright tweeted, I'm not going to use her real name, tweeted a story which claimed WWE's Matt Riddle propositioned her for sex and threatened her when she refused. The incident allegedly occurred in 2018 while they were traveling together in a van with other wrestlers, all of whom have fallen asleep. She says she eventually agreed to perform oral sex in order to get out of having intercourse and described the entire situation as incredibly humiliating. WWE released their standard statement in cases such as this to several media outlets. We take any allegation of this nature very seriously and are looking into the matter. Riddle is one of the most recent names mentioned in the part of this hashtag speaking out movement, where wrestlers and fans are sharing instances of sexual abuse and predatory behavior they experience in the business. So the former UFC fighter and NXT Tag Team Champion is scheduled to make his debut on SmackDown tonight, which he did. Okay, so which I'm assuming it's going to be that was the night. So that was September 19th. Obviously, Matt Riddle ended up agreeing, not agreeing, but admitting to the affair. So, this is from TMZ. This is July the 8th, 2020. WWE superstar, Matt Riddle admits affair with pro wrestler, denies sexual assault. WWE superstar Matt Riddle is acknowledging he had an affair with pro wrestler Candy Cartwright, but adamantly denies her sexual assault allegations in the video. I'm going to make this quick. I have never in my life sexually assaulted a man, woman, or anybody, Riddle said. And that includes Candy Cartwright. They used her real name. I'm not going to do that. I never sexually assaulted you. As we previously reported, Cartwright, a pro wrestler on the indie circuit, claimed Riddle forced her to perform oral sex on him during a 2018 van ride with other wrestlers. Riddle says the allegations are BS. Quote, the story about the van trip and the driver being asleep and me forcing you to do stuff and hop on whatever is a complete lie. It's a fabricated story because you're still mad. Riddle said Cartwright is upset because, quote, we had an affair, which he then broke off. He said, quote, it's embarrassing because I feel like a real piece of crap cheating on my wife and doing that, and now having to talk about it publicly. We had an affair. We had a fling. I started to get sad and depressed because I was lying to my wife so much that to hide what I was doing. I was lying to all my friends because I didn't want anybody to know, because it's not something cool. I didn't want to brag about it. I tried to end it. I told my wife about you and us. I tried to end it. I blocked you. I blocked your social media. Riddle claims Cartwright tried to continue the relationship despite his efforts to stop it, and claims she couldn't handle the rejection, so she made up allegations about him. Well, at the end of the day, I'm not perfect. I did have an affair, and I'm not happy about it, but I never sexually assaulted anybody. And when I wanted to get out of this relationship, out of this situation, she said no, and she kept pursuing me and harassing me and stalking me. And then, when she didn't get her way, she used the speaking out movement to try to ruin my career. Still, this is TMZ now. Still unclear if Cartwright ever went to police with the allegations. She has previously said that she was inspired to speak out by other quote-unquote brave women who have come out in claims about sexual assault misconduct. Okay, so as we know, they ended up going to court over this. And Matt Riddle wanted to get a restraining order. And apparently this is where some more stuff happens, because there were some untrue statements made by one side. I believe it was Riddle's side, but this is also from Cage Side Seats. This was from September the 17th, 2020. Candy Cartwright comments on Matt Riddle's restraining order dismissal. Earlier this year, Candy Cartwright came forward with allegations that Matt Riddle sexually assaulted her. Riddle admitted they had an affair, but denied that he sexually assaulted her. He claimed that she was stalking him, which led Riddle to seek a restraining order against her. Last night, David Bix's band reported that Matt Riddle involuntarily withdrew his request for a restraining order. Cartwright responded to this latest development with the following statement through her lawyer, Allison S. Lovelady, that can be read in its entirety on Cartwright's Twitter. They keep using her real name. So the embedded tweet says, "I would like to thank the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund for helping me through these difficult months and helping me push back against these claims. I also want to thank everyone who supported me in this. I appreciate every single one of you." And then there's a letter that talks about the allegations and everything. I'm not sure if I should read that or not. Let's see. But we're going to continue. Cartwright's lawyer said that her client has experienced online harassment and lost employment opportunities as a result of speaking out on being sexually assaulted by Riddle. She also includes the fact that WWE has actually incorporated these allegations into Riddle's SmackDown storyline on television. Quote, therefore, Riddle filed a petition for injunction that included false accusations, including that Tavel attended an event in Orlando, Florida, where Riddle was present, although she was not even in the state at the time. Riddle's attorney, Daniel J. Rose, also posted a press release regarding the injunction on Twitter, which resulted in online harassment and retaliation against Cartwright. They keep using her real name. I keep saying Cartwright. Cartwright has also lost employment, including an opportunity to work for WWE, and has struggled to find work since. Riddle continues to work for the WWE as a featured performer and has even alluded to these allegations in his act. The statement includes the following response from Cartwright. I'm relieved that these claims were dismissed, but the damage to my reputation and career remains. I came forward to prevent this from happening to other women and will continue to fight for justice. It's not easy to see my name smeared on social media or wake up to hate messages and threats, but I am speaking up because I was inspired by the brave women who came before me. My hope is that other victims of sexual violence feel empowered to share the truth about their experiences, as I have done and will continue to do. Okay, so it was mentioned by Baron Corbin that he was not a good husband, but that was like the extent of the mention. It wasn't like they really went into this whole ordeal. I think it's kind of fucked up that they even mentioned it in that way, but it was, I guess you could say it was mentioned. It was alluded to, I suppose, but it could have been other things. So October the 8th, 2020, there's the lawsuit comes out. So what is the lawsuit about? Candy Cartwright is going after Matt Riddle, WWE, and more. This is from Fightful, written by Sean Ross Sapp. Fightful learned that Thursday morning, woman's real name, professionally known as Candy Cartwright, filed a lawsuit in the Circuit Court of Cook County, Illinois. Matt Riddle, WWE, Gabe Sapolsky, and Evolve Wrestling are the defendants. According to the documents, Cartwright is seeking $10 million per defendant. So that's $10 million from Matt Riddle, $10 million from WWE, $10 million from Gabe Sapolsky, and I guess Evolve, which doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so she's seeking $10 million per defendant. The attorneys representing Cartwright are Hale and Monaco's John Schwarinsky Jr., cited by the plaintiff are actual damages, damages from emotional distress, punitive damages, attorney's fees, and costs. Documents from the lawsuit allege that Riddle began sexually assaulting Cartwright in April 2017 in the parking lot after the Evolve Wrestling event. The lawsuit also alleges that Riddle bragged about this to former Evolve owner Gabe Sapolsky, and that the two entities and WWE tactically approved of Riddle's alleged sexual violence. Specifically, the lawsuit also alleges that on or about May 19, 2018, Matt Riddle forced Cartwright to perform oral sex on him by choking her. The claim states that this was done in front of other members of Evolve while on the bus leaving an event from Summit, Illinois, the site of Evolve 104. In addition, it was said that the misogynistic culture created by the defendants encouraged the behavior, and that WWE has condoned sexual assault in the workplace for over 30 years. toxic misogyny, and the company's duty to refrain from assisting and encouraging the alleged tortious, it's misspelled here, but it's pronounced tortious conduct, was listed as a complaint towards the companies and Sapolsky. In the lawsuit, it is alleged that Cartwright had bookings with WWE and Evolve on or about January 31st, 2020, and that prior to that, Riddle had forced her to perform sex acts under the threat that she would lose bookings if she did not. Tavel claims that she refused to continue and that Riddle informed WWE and Evolve that he did not want her working with the companies and that she was told, quote, issues with talent, unquote, prevented the bookings. The document's background states that pro wrestling is a male-dominated sport and that, quote, in recent years, females have begun to perform for WWE and Evolve, end quote. The history of female performers being hypersexualized and performing in lingerie was brought up, as well as the multitude of sexual assault allegations. There is a mention of higher beauty standards for men, I'm guessing he meant women, and a dangerous culture for women, including, but then it's something else goes wrong. It's not written well, I'm sorry. Riddle has denied allegations of sexual assault from Cartwright in the past. Allegations emerged in June. We just went over this. Fightful has reached out to WWE, Sapolsky, Riddle's attorneys, and Tavel's attorneys for comment. We are told that at least attorneys on Riddle's behalf plans to countersue. Now, this is also very interesting. That's also written in Fightful. There are some notable errors in the document, specifying that Riddle was employed by WWE by the time of May 19, 2018. Riddle hadn't signed with the company for over a month beyond that point. Evolve Wrestling Inc. also did not exist for several months beyond May 19th, 2018. So I'm not so sure what he means by beyond. Maybe he means before. I don't know what that means. But that's the story. So now I'm going to give you my opinion. This is my opinion. My opinion is I do not know what Matt Riddle said or did. It's impossible for me to know. But I do know that this lawsuit is bullshit. How do I know the lawsuit is bullshit? Well, not just because Fightful is even trying to clear up the dates, but she claimed, quote from the article, it said that a misogynistic culture created by the defendants encouraged the behavior, and that WWE has condoned sexual assault in the workplace for over 30 years. Toxic misogyny and the company's duty to refrain from assisting and encouraging the alleged tortious conduct was listed as a complaint. Okay, she's just trying to get paid. All right. Now, I saw a lot of people, they would say things like, why would you say that the speaking out stuff isn't real? Like, this is pro wrestling. Nobody makes a lot of money. It's like, yeah, until you go to WWE. Then you start really kind of making money. Okay. And then you start getting these bullshit lawsuits like this. And $10 million, a $10 million lawsuit. You also have to notice that she had, when she was going through the restraining order thing, she had Time's Up legal defense fund. That's with the Hollywood women, all the Hollywood broads who, when they got together to try to fight these lawsuits that may be coming from guys that they claimed raped them or had sexual assault, they pooled their money. And essentially, it's a political thing, right? It's not just a pool of finances. It's also a pool of political power to prevent people from trying to fight back. And she continues to invoke women, all the brave women who had to go through what I went through, all of the brave women, and it's a toxic culture for women and all this type of stuff, right? And she says that over the in recent years, performers have started to work for WWE and Evolve. It's like, as far as I know, there's always been women's wrestlers in Evolve. And there's always been women's wrestlers in WWE, at least since the 1980s. There's been at least one women's match per year since the 1980s, for the most part. Even if it's not like a full division, there have been women's wrestlers for a long time. My guess is that this is, again, a thinly veiled attempt at scoring some money. And it's really sad because, again, I don't know what really happened. Did she really lose her bookings because of this? Probably. But it likely had more to do with the pandemic. It is still a pandemic. And very few companies are up and running. Now, Evolve went out of business, and I think Candy Cartwright worked for Evolve. So Evolve went out of business early in the pandemic. So so if she was looking at getting booked for June, there's still some companies running. Impact is still running. AEW is running. Major League Wrestling is about to start back up. The NWA is about to start back up. She could theoretically get a job. Okay, the idea that she lost. Now, of course you have to assume, and this seems to be a common assumption, is that just because you are a guy, you have some type of power that, so they says here that Matt Riddle told WWE she didn't want WWE and Evolve. You have to group them together. That they didn't want Candy Cartwright on the show. And I have to say, did Matt Riddle even have that kind of ability? Like, you can say that maybe higher level talents could prevent you from getting booked. I don't know if Matt Riddle was that high level of a talent. And then in January 31st, he was pretty much on the NXT roster. So how would he have any booking control over Evolve? I mean, I don't know. Then again, that's something I don't know. I don't know what Matt Riddle's level of success was in Evolve. Evolve was a small promotion, and so I don't know if he was was he like a producer or something there, or was he just like a talent, a featured talent, which could be the case. I'm pretty sure all the NXT guys were essentially featured talents for a little while. But, this whole misogynistic culture and tortious conduct and all this, come on, man. We already know that's bullshit. That shit probably gonna get tossed. Now, she probably would have had a good chance of if she had left WWE out of it. If she probably would have just sued Matt Riddle, she might have had a chance of getting a settlement. This thing is probably going to end up going to court. If WWE doesn't get it crushed, it's probably just going to end up going to court. I also noticed she got a different legal team for this. Now, again, she had the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund when she was dealing with the restraining order, which I don't see. Look, the restraining order thing is kind of confusing because I heard there was some bad information coming. I think we mentioned that Matt Riddle said that she was at a party or something like that, or she came to an event where she wasn't even in the state at the time, and now she's claiming that Matt Riddle has some sort of a power in WWE when he was not even under contract. So it feels like a lot of mudslinging between and a very ugly breakup, and that's always could be the case. And I think that Occam's razor is that they had an affair, at least that. Because that's at least the part that they both agreed to is that there was some sexual conduct between the two of them, and now we get the idea that she was forced, but we don't. How do we prove that? It's been 2 years. How can we prove that she was forced? We can't. So I don't know what to do. I'm just bringing the information forward and giving my opinion. In my opinion, this is bullshit. At least on the WWE part of it. Whether Gabe Sapolsky has something to do with it, who knows? Probably not. But I think she's just looking to cash in because the momentum is there. And we saw in the concussion case that people have this idea that if you file a claim and then fill it with things, then, negative stuff that, that you can drag public, that maybe the company will want to cover it up. That's what they did with the Constantine Kairos lawsuit, where they brought up, Ashley Massaro getting raped by a soldier, or getting raped in Iraq or something like that, which had absolutely nothing to do with concussions or anything about that. Just like, this woman is talking about, lingerie pillow fights and all that type of stuff, which had nothing to do with her. Didn't have nothing to do with her. Like, the idea that this, of course, has anything. She never worked for WWE, as far as I know. If she worked for Evolve during the time when Evolve was being funded by WWE, then she essentially worked for a WWE subsidiary, I guess you could say. So how would WWE's culture have anything to do with her? Especially if she wasn't, if the company of Evolve did not exist prior to 2018, how could she have possibly been involved in any lingerie pillow fights? Because there weren't any. So you have to ask the question, where's all this stuff coming from? Is that she's looking for money. And it's sad. But this is what I expected, and what a lot of people expected when you get this with these speaking out engagements and all this type of stuff. Is you get a lot of these frivolous lawsuits. And you know, look, she deserves her day in court, I will say that. But it's probably going to get tossed. And don't be surprised if it does. And, you know, so there it is. You know, maybe she'll be able to tie in that WWE alluded to, even though her name wasn't used or nothing like that. That WWE kind of alluded to it in the Baron Corbin storyline. Maybe they'll be able to get away. She'll be able to get away with that. But that was public information that Matt Riddle himself even said that happened, and that was it. It wasn't like she was discredited in any way. And they're not responsible for any and all reactions other people may have. Like if somebody wanted to, you know, follow her on Twitter and harass her, they're not responsible for that, because if that's the case, and it seems like that might be the case, because Matt Riddle has also been harassed from the allegation in the first place. You know, he had his career definitely affected by this. Okay, so there's nothing that she can't claim other than maybe the loss of bookings, because he didn't lose his job. But she was, you know, it's the middle of the pandemic. It's not like she was working consistently for WWE. And then she came out and said, oh, Matt Riddle, you know, sexually assaulted me. And then she lost bookings. She wasn't working there anyway. At least not that I can think of. Was she like a job talent on NXT or something? And maybe that was it. Because I don't remember ever seeing her as anything on the roster. And I remember seeing most of these Evolve people at one point. So I don't know, but it feels like bullshit to me. But I guess there can always be information that How y'all doing? This is a little addition to the Matt Riddle Candy Cartwright story. Apparently, there's a letter out now that is from. Well, let's read the article from Wrestling Inc. It goes, Cartwright's lawsuit alleges that Riddle sexually assaulted her from 2017 to 2020 as they had a sexual relationship. Cartwright also says that she had dates booked with both WWE and Evolve in January of this year, which would be 2020, and that her refusal to perform sex acts on Riddle led to her dismissal after Riddle allegedly told the companies not to book her anymore. An email that has been obtained by David Bixenspan of Babyface v. Heel that was reportedly sent to Cartwright from WWE referee Drake Wirtz, who also worked. They keep jumping around. I'm sorry. Who also worked to book extras for WWE. The email was apparently sent on Friday, January the 31st at 9:22 p.m. from the quote-unquote NXT Extras email address on the WWEcorp.com server to Cartwright's Yahoo address. The email reads like this. Samantha, I regret to argue. I'm sorry, I used her real name. Anyway, forget it. It doesn't matter. If you look this story up, you'll see her real name anyway. I've been trying not to use it, but I mean, it is what it is. I regret to inform you that we will have to cancel your booking for this Wednesday, February 5th, as well as March the 4th. Apparently, there were some past issues I wasn't aware of with you and one of our talent that would not make for an ideal work environment. Good luck to you in your career, Drake Wirtz, NXT Senior Official / Extra Talent Liaison. On a related note, Cartwright's lawsuit also claimed that she lost Evolve bookings for March, but as in the tweet below, she appeared as a social media ambassador for Evolve 106 event on March the 1st in Massachusetts. Below is a screenshot of the event sent from Wirtz to Cartwright, along with the tweet from Evolve. Okay, so she apparently sent an email to David Bixenspan that supposedly proved her point that she lost bookings, but it has nothing to do with speaking out, because this was months before speaking out. This was months before. This was 6 months before, 5 months before. 4 months or something like that. Friday, January 31st. Speaking out engagements was in June. So yeah, about 5 months. Okay. I don't see. It doesn't really change my opinion of this whole thing. But David Bixenspan is like the perfect person to send this letter to if you want to stir shit. If it was well known that she and Riddle had a problem, which apparently this was not a new thing, but was a recurring thing between these two, then yeah, I'm not surprised. Now, again, not going to say whether Riddle did anything or not, but doesn't sound like it makes sense to me. Doesn't sound like it makes sense to me. This email proved nothing. It proved that somebody found out something about her that they didn't really like. Could have been anything. So that just means that, Drake Works gonna have to make a comment about what was the information that he heard that made him cancel her bookings. But she was apparently still working Evolve. So, but you have to ask. I don't know when the lockdowns began. So I think we still were. I don't think we were locked down in March yet. So okay. Well, anyway, the video doesn't. This letter doesn't really prove anything. It helps her case to prove that she lost bookings, but she has to prove that she lost bookings because of Matt Riddle, which and that could be the case. It could be that Matt Riddle went and be like, nah, it's not going to work. But it also could have been that there were other things. You can have more than one problem. So these things it's going to come in dribs and drabs. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys.